Hello and welcome. This is Enlightened Connections, a space where unseen threads are illuminated between people and spirit, between animals and their humans, and between the everyday and the extraordinary. I'm your host, Lisa Aston Michael, medium, healer, and animal communicator. And I invite you each week to join me as I share conversations and practices that bring light, healing, and connection into your world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am very excited because my guest this week is Kari Magee, an intuitive healer and founder of Alchemy for Empaths, a sanctuary for sensitives, empaths, and highly attuned souls. Blending modern and ancient wisdom, Kari draws on her training as a certified heart healing practitioner, Western shamanic practitioner, and energy worker to guide others through deep emotional transformation. She's also the creator of the Light Method, a signature process designed to help empaths achieve emotional self-mastery and live with greater love, freedom, and abundance. Her work weaves together intuition, energy medicine, and grounded psychology to help clients reclaim their power, clear energetic imprints, and reconnect to their inner truth. With a compassionate yet empowering approach, Kari's mission is to help sensitives embrace the wisdom within and turn their depth into their greatest strength, and that's leading from their light. I'm very honored to introduce Kari Magee. Welcome, Kari.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited that you're here. Alchemy for Empaths. I feel there are many listeners out there who recognize themselves as empaths. From your perspective, tell me what you feel an empath is.
Well, I believe everyone is an empath. It's just how dialed up and in tune we are. The best example of an empath you can look at is definitely in the animal kingdom and the animal world, because animals are sensitives. One of the most significant ones that we easily recognize are horses. They are just, very in tune with their environment, with people. If you've seen horses even doing energy work with other healers, they're quite exceptional. They use their feeling body to really read signals and interpret messages. And I think as humans, we are becoming more and more sensitive or in tune. Now, this has happened multiple different ways. I think one reason is, our nervous systems are a little bit frazzled and fried and dialed up with burnout. And that has actually brought our empathic abilities a little bit more online because we've experienced trauma, we've experienced burnout, our nervous systems are on high alert, so we are receiving more messages which can make us more sensitive. And then the other side of the coin of that is, just our natural intuitive talents. Some people are born more sensitive or neurodivergent, so to speak. That could be an aspect of that. And some people lean into really working with their intuition and the ways that they receive. Now, typically, a lot of people assume that empathic capabilities is just through your feeling body, but you can be empathic through lots of different methods. So it's basically the clairs, so how you receive your intuition. So that could be psychically as a medium. That can be through clairsentience, where your feeling body is sensing and perceiving. That could be you hear things or you see things that come through to you. So it's just your body is a huge tuning fork or receiving station, and that empathy is a word is how you're connecting and receiving those messages that are coming in. So that's a long-winded version of what I believe empathy is. There's so many different nuances and layers to unpack how we can work or lean into that a lot more and dial that up and understand how we receive that information.
I love that you mentioned the horse, because you're
Yes.
quite right. I've seen, and so has everybody else, I expect, has seen the videos of Peo, the stallion that goes into the hospital and chooses which person he wants to work with. And also there's a lady that does horse healing out in her paddock. So she has her clients on the table and the horses freely come and express their energy. And I know myself with my own horse, she could read my energy from way down the other end of the paddock. She knew if it was going to be a good day or not a great day. And her body showed me exactly what she was picking up from me before I even knew. And I stopped and thought, oh gosh, what's going on with my energy field? What am I bringing to her? What did I not clear before I came to her? So, and it's also interesting that as you've just described what an empath is, how so many are opening up to connection with animals, communicating with animals, or, finding themselves as animal empaths.
Yes.
More so than ever before. And wow, what a shake-up we have had. So you've got such a vast background in healing. I want to know, what drew you to this path?
Look, I think I've always been coded to be really of service to people. I've always been drawn to people. And I mean, look, yes, I've got a little nice trauma backstory, which has shaped where I have moved towards. And as we do all, we come into this world and we have experiences in a lens of things, and that sort of shapes the direction of what we do, so to speak. But I'm someone very connected with a purpose, and I like to be purposeful. I mean, if you're into astrology, I can see it all written in my astrology wheel, and it can be very clear, but it also does you need to go through the process, and you need to unlearn, unpack, and go on the journey to get to, and I'm still doing that journey. It shall evolve. Things do open up for you, and, the universe does like to deliver twists and turns, of course, which are unpredictable. So it is surrendering to that, but also we always have choice. And we're always guided by our passions. I mean, I've always been drawn to animals and people, and I really love providing that sense of safety and nurturing, and I love love too. And I
We
think
need more of that. We need more of that.
And authenticity. So I love an authenticity, and, you can still say a hard thing, but if it comes from a place of love and truth, it just lands differently. So you can have strength with softness. And I feel that empaths sometimes get this rap where, we're just big marshmallows, which, yes, we are. However, we have seen a lot and felt a lot and walked deeply with our inner selves. So there is a real strength in our character to be able to hold a room in a space. But we also need to recognize that that's hard for us to maintain with our physical selves. So we do need to invest a lot more personal self-care, regulation, discernment, clearing, and making space for that health, so we are able to carry those spaces or hold those spaces. We're not here, like a wounded empath will do the work for other people, where an empath in their power or sovereignty will hold up that mirror for someone.
I love that.
Yeah, it really is. It's just about holding up that mirror, but you've got to have some strong arms to do that, because some people don't like to look at that reflection. So this is why I talk about embracing the wisdom within, our personal self-responsibility. If we are diving into that healing work and learning about about ourselves, we're able to hold our center when things, people, places come along that can throw us off center.
So there's a lot of work to developing your empathy. Do you believe that is that's a the right phrase, developing your empathy, because I think if you're not careful, you can take on the energy of others. You can take on their issues, their stuff. And if you don't really know that you're doing that, if you're not aware that you're doing that, it can have, I believe, you're the expert on this, but I believe it can manifest as a not so great impact on your own self, on your own consciousness or your own mind, body, spirit. So you've got to know, I guess, or do you have to know how to take care of yourself as an empath?
Absolutely. Now, I've been through burnout twice because of this exact very reason. So I pushed and pushed and pushed and took on board that responsibility of others. I was taking on board the energies of the area, the workplace, toxic workplaces, being in a relationship that not necessarily was feeding my soul in a good way. And I, because of my psychology and my limiting beliefs, I believed I had to hold that. And because I was a strong person and because I could do it, where others, I needed to take care of others all the time. And I would block receiving and getting good things for myself. So I just burnt myself out. So I spent a few months on the couch, unable to really get up and walk and do much. And, this manifests in other disease or dis-ease that people end up experiencing in life. And then when I learned, I was always a sensitive kid and everybody said, you're always so sensitive, you're so sensitive, but I never attributed that to my superpower. And this is why I really focus on shadow work in my work and uncovering that, because when we lean into those shadows, those are our superpowers and our greatest aspects of transformation. So when I learned that, I started to notice that more. And then my sensitivity became even more sensitive, so to speak. So I really had to, and it's about managing when I say the four pillars or four aspects: your physical self, your mental self, your emotional self, and your spiritual self. You've got to, because we always, people that are interested in the woo or the magical and that we always deal with our mental capacity, but we use our bodies to intuit and receive messages. So we've got to also focus and ground our physical and clear our physical. And mentally, like there's so many times where I'm good. Emotionally, I'm in such a great place, but my physical body moves a lot slower and it hasn't released all the emotion, or it hasn't released things that I've picked up in my environment. Now, I'm someone, yes, I do protection work. I know how to clear my energy field, all of that sort of stuff. But as empaths, we naturally do absorb things anyway. So you can have all the protection there, but we are always receiving and processing and putting things through. So yes, you can limit certain environments you go into and types of environments. A big one to consider as environment is social media and television.
Oops.
Because we don't consider that as something that we're absorbing. But the frequency of jumping in and doom scrolling, because they only show you negative things to trigger you, it actually starts to get into your energy field. So it really is about that power of intention. Are we doing things consciously? And that is protecting our energy. So when I work with people, I work through to find those energy leaks, because they can be like a small pinprick pressure leak, which could be undoing all the big things. You might think, I just need to set a boundary with a bad ex or a boundary with a boss. And yes, that's going to claim your energy. Or yes, I need to change jobs because it's just draining me. But if you look at all these little different areas where you're giving your power over, or you're not consciously aware of what those leaks are, that's just a full drain. So while you might be doing all the work on your emotions and your mental health and things, your physical is slowly being drawn away by that social media scroll, or eating too much sugar, for example. It's so nuanced. Every person, how it's all layered together, will influence how you're protecting and maintaining your energy. And I'm a big believer of things being individualized. Like, yes, you have these things where, okay, for emotional release work, you have to journal every morning to clear, and then you have to sage yourself, and you have to, no, you don't. It changes. Some days I will put on music and I'll just dance around my house and go crazy, because that's how I need to shift what I'm holding in my body. Some days I need to just have a good shower cry, and just change it out. So yes, being in the habit and having a routine for grounding and for releasing is great, but what that looks like every day, we don't need to become attached to that. But then also, and I keep going down rabbit holes as well, in our charts and in our makeup, we have specific ways that are going to help us to clear better.
Oh, that's interesting.
So once we understand that energy, we know what's going to release. So if we're looking at our Mars sign, because that's our action and doing, and things like that. So you can pick up and yes, you know it for yourself. Like, you'd have a natural understanding of, like, I know if I make a to-do list, I'm a lot more calmer, for example. But then you've also would see, she's a Capricorn moon. So to feel more emotionally in control and feel like my self-care is taken care of, I'll write a to-do list in the morning to create a list of everything that I have to do, so that calms my mental clutter. So then I can focus on that energy around me.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? The physical and emotional and spiritual health. Just from what you've said, astrologically, I've got a Scorpio moon, and my human design is emotional projector. So, like, for me, I walk around gathering and collecting everybody's stuff.
And deeply. And
coming home and going, I don't want to play on Earth anymore. It's too hard. For me personally, my thing is swimming. And I don't know whether that's because, my sun sign is Cancer, so my Mercury's in Cancer. There's a lot of water in my chart. Neptune is in Scorpio. Water, water, water everywhere. And I wonder that in relation to my thing is water. I've got to be near water, whether it's in the shower or whether it's in the local baths. That for me is my energy cleanse.
Yes.
And I've tried walking and, gym and doing the earth things, and it doesn't really cleanse. So is that a coincidence, or is that a thing?
I would 100% say that was correct. I channel light language, and when that comes through, it's very element-based for me when I see the codes come in. And also when I look at astrology charts, like, I really feel into the elements. In my own astrological chart is quite a balance in regards to elements. So mine does change around quite a bit with... but I understand the water cleanse. I do my cleansing in the shower because I need to wash away. But sometimes I'll call in a dragon to burn away energy, because that's what I feel is needed. But if you are a very water dominated and you feel into it, I cannot stress enough, we are our own best authority on what is needed. So somebody, even I that might have all the skill set can't say, no, you need to do this to make sure you're doing it. No, you are your own best authority in how you feel and what you're experiencing. So you will know. It's just, I'm here to give you the information so you can make that choice and learn what is going to give you the best result in the best time. And you lean into that more and you experiment with it. You have to try things on for size to understand. But Scorpio moons is probably one of the most difficult moon signs to have. I have a Capricorn moon, which is probably the second difficult. My emotions are like rocks, which is really interesting as an empath, because technically we're so feeling, but I think, there's some new layers to that. But yeah, as a Scorpio moon, it's very deep, it's very intense, it's the bottom of the ocean, and it's very transformative and alchemical. So, and then, because I know you've got an Aries rising, you need the action too to get it moving.
And the progressed moon is currently Aries, so I just want to find a little room somewhere on in a corner of the earth and just sit there and wait for the transit to go.
And that's the other thing too to mention. So sometimes some things work for us brilliantly for an amount of time, but there are other energetic influences which can change that for a period of time. And, you can go as off-planet as you want and look at the astrology and see what's transiting and how you're feeling. But you can also, look at life phases as well. So through midlife, there is, from the age of 27 through to 60, there's some pretty solid life-altering transits where we are unpacking our consciousness, shedding our identities and rebirthing into the new version of us, and moving forward. So, I'm not sure the basic age range of your audience, but this is the typical midlife crisis because it is a reinvention of sorts, and we are relearning who we are as a person. And we've made mistakes as a kid, and some people, yes, they've had early childhood trauma and quite extreme trauma, and they may have a softer other end of life. But on the most part, there's a lot of people through that midlife transit. It's a lot of unraveling and learning about who we are as a person and what we're here to contribute.
So how would somebody know if they're an empath or whether they're just a sympathetic person?
I would say everybody's an empath. If you identify with the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of others, and you have a genuine care, to take it really, really up a level, if there is a spiritual belief that we all carry the same energy, we have the God energy within us all, and we all come from source. We are all one. And some of us have memory of that. I feel this very deeply. If there is a belief that when you pass on, that when you go to heaven, you go back to source, back into the collective feeling. So this is how, and it's a feeling of that love and empathy, total empathy and understanding. And I don't think we say we think as one. We're not going to be thinking as one. We feel as one. So we move. When you look at, and to relate it to animals, so if you look at a pack of wolves and they're hunting, and there's the theory that the alpha leads the pack and the other dogs follow, they're actually empathically communicating with each other and moving forward, backwards, around in their hunt. Yes, you have a lead point dog that is the energy for it, but you've got the protector in the back. They are communicating through feeling. They're not barking at each other to say, hey, come on over here. This is the vantage point where we need to get this prey. They are telepathically and empathically moving as one and communicating with each other to get to their end goal and working together. So that sympathy, that empathy is a remembrance of being in that collective source as one. And you see yourself reflected in another person. And you can still hold your own sovereignty or your own belief system, your own life experience, your own truths and filters, like what I would believe as a person. And I could look at someone that would have a complete opposite world point of view from me and still be able to experience that love or empathy because they're just looking at it through a different filter and a different experience. But when we all come together, it's the same. So, but yeah, there are challenges to get to that because we have our beautiful egos that keep us safe and protected and our conditioning from life that gives us those filters. So if we're just prepared to clean the glasses a little bit and have a look, I think that develops it a little bit. And I'd also like to say it's not a point scoring exercise. Well, I'm more empathic than you, or I've got this talent more than the other person, because that becomes from a place of judgment. So it's like, well, we're all on a path. all at a frequency. We're all at a different stage in life. However you want to say it, it's just that is our experience and where we're at. So
it seems as if it's sort of shaped like a dinosaur, really, in terms of when we're children, before we get to starting school, the world is just, life's a gas. The world is a beautiful, safe, magic place where you talk to the lizards and you talk to the rocks and you talk to your spirit friends, or not all children, but some children see spirit and some children have memories from a previous incarnation as well. But then we get to school and all of that is kind of channeled out of us rather than channeled in. It's channeled out of us and we lose our individualization and we go through from primary school to high school and we're taught the same subjects by the same teacher in the same way, expected to give the same answers so that we get similar marks. And then we're programmed to either, here's your choice, get a job or go to uni. And depending on your own path, you take one or the other. And then you get a job because you need money to pay things, and you generally get a job that you don't like because any job will do. And so you're placing yourself in an environment there where it's not good, it's not best for you. And if it's a toxic environment, it's even worse. So we have these real challenges, don't we, as we move into our teens and adulthood. And then you get to the point where you go, what am I doing? What's this about? What's going on here? This doesn't feel right for me. And you start looking at what feels right for you. Is that kind of tapping into your own empathy, your own higher self? Are we moving back to what was taken from us as we get older?
Yeah, there's lots of different theories about that, and this is the patriarchal system. So it's a form of control, and some children thrive in that system, and they do really well at school because their energy and their empathy is designed for structure. It's designed for process and it to be delivered in that way. However, and as we are now experiencing, because we've got a lot of, if you understand about star seeds, we've got lots of new souls coming into Earth, and children are quite special, quite diverse. And there are a lot of adults that are waking up to that now too, who process things very differently. And this is why we've got a lot of neurodiversity and ways of being out there. And, you can call it being woke or what have you. But if you actually fundamentally look at the energy that they have, it's not designed to be set in that structured system. But our beautiful egos, which are our thinking brains, take on that conditioning to say that, yes, if I want to get to point Z, I need to take step A, B, C, D, E, F. But some of our energies are designed, like if you're a manifesting generator type person, you would be zigzag all up and down the alphabet sort of thing to get to Z. Projectors might take it a lot more slowly, but very focused. With a lot of rest time. Generators is a lot of trial and error, but it has to be driven by joy, for example. So, yes, in your charts, there's a hint to that. But we form these beliefs that we have to do it in a certain way, and it has to look a certain way, and we really lose sight of what's right for us. So I fell into that trap. I entered into the corporate world because I wanted to be successful and I needed to make money and save for my retirement, and I needed to buy my home, and it needed to, have 4 bedrooms and ocean views or whatever it was at the time. And I was focused on doing, do, have. And how I got there had to look a certain way. 38 hours a week. I need to earn over $100,000 to get all of that. And I missed out on so many things because of that. And I also was so miserable because I had to performance manage people and focus on the negative aspects at work rather than doing what I love and uplifting people and training them and supporting them. There were some aspects of that, but it was just, again, another structure and system which was all about that control. And so that really shut me down. And I was tired all the time and I had no capacity to do anything. And I knew there was a problem and I needed to change my life and I needed to change my job, for example. But that was a very difficult step for me to make because of that conditioning. And so, yes, you build up that strength in midlife and you connect to that sensitivity aspect because your body starts to warn you of things. You will get health issues. You will get those intuitive nudges, and intuitive nudges start out as whispers
and end up as cricket bats.
Yeah, or trucks. So
Let's talk a little about the light method.
Yes,
let's talk about that one. Tell us about that.
All right. So when I work with people, and I mean, it depends on where you're at in your journey. So the LIGHT method is an acronym. So L is liberation. So this is liberation from those limiting beliefs, those emotional ties, those energetic blocks that are really weighing you down. And so you're bringing into your conscious awareness of what is holding you back. Then we move into I, which is your intuition. So it's really about intuition's a muscle. Some people are born naturally into it, yes. It's something you can develop and you can massage and work because you are your own best authority. So we need to connect and trust our own intuition. So it's about connecting into that. Then we have G, which is grounding, which is your self-care 101. That is just the base of everything for an empath, because if you don't understand how to deliver quality self-care and allow yourself to receive that, because we block that as empaths, we can't affect and make change in the world. H is healing. So this is going through and healing those shadows, doing that deep dive shadow work. And this is a process. It's definitely a layered. You know, you will have the same issue come up multiple times throughout your whole life, but it's just the next layer to shed that. And then T is transmission. So this is about owning your voice and sharing your light with the world. What are you called to do? Now, yeah, you could be on a podcast sharing your light with the world. You could write a book, yes, but it could be as simple as showing up if you're a teacher at school and sharing your knowledge with young people. It could be even just in your family, being that black sheep and sharing your truth with others. But it's you've gone through that healing and you have the confidence to speak your truth with clarity and share your love with the world, that empathy.
And through your program, through the LIGHT method, do you incorporate astrology or human design or any of those methods?
So I work intuitively. So whatever comes through for the person is where we focus it. So I use astrology and human design as a language to describe energy. It grounds it in there. So I utilize that. I utilize heart healing, which is a psychology-based and also spirituality-based modality, which heals the relational wounds of the heart. So it's like inner child healing in a subconscious state where you do emotional release and then we put up energetic protection, etc. I also use shamanic medicine or energy work, which is soul part integration, past lives, power animals. I use a lot of animal symbology, etc., to learn the lessons and have things that come through. And that comes through in the heart healing as well, because there are a lot of similar aspects. Channel guidance that will just come through as well, you know, through oracle decks or tarot, or it'll just come through in conversation. I have experience of people I work with, they will light up like a Christmas tree or get goosebumps because that truth will come through then and they will make the revelation. I do technical, like real world coaching, so qualified coach. So, that's a psychology and based modality. So it's to help people unpack their ideas. And then very pure energy work, channel light language that comes through. And yeah, just working with energy fields and anchoring in concepts. That doesn't really require much of the person. If this comes through, it's just really, updating energy fields and things like that. So there's a lot of things that I draw from. And then, I've just studied lots of different things over the years. So that all comes through.
And can people work with you, have a session with you online?
Yes, absolutely. So all energy work can be done online. Or if I am based in Brisbane, so I have done quite a few in person
as well. It's a complete healing hub that you offer.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful. And Kari, if people want to come and see you or get in touch with you, what is the best way? Would Instagram be the best way to reach you?
I would say just, so I have Instagram's probably the easiest, so Alchemy for Empaths. I am on Facebook, but just my name, Kari Magee, so you can add me on there through DMs. And it would start out as a conversation and what you would be looking for. I have set packages which I offer and rotate around based on what I feel my guides call me through to what is needed to offer out in the world. But if there is something specific, yes, then I will work to create a package to work through that. I really do love to deep dive and have quite focused sessions, and it's a co-creation. So it's not just about me waving a magic wand. We are going on a journey together, and I will guide, and you need to be ready to do the work. Yes.
Okay. Well, your contact details will be in text, in print, at the bottom of your description or the podcast for this episode. We only have a few minutes left, so I want to ask you, what would be your one message for people, for the world right now? What would be your one message?
Well, it dropped in while you were saying that. It really is embrace this wisdom within. And this is your discernment. This is trusting that those whispers in your belly are the right ones. And it's about creating space and time to listen to that. So it might go against completely what your head screams at you. But if you are getting that nudge that this is the wrong thing for me to be doing or where I am at in life, you need to lean into that and know that you are your own best authority. And if someone says, no, you shouldn't do that, and if anything comes with a shouldn't or couldn't or what are you thinking, you need to come back to yourself and you know what is best for you.
Okay, that's a beautiful message, and we'll leave it right there. Kari Magee, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your knowledge and all about the light method. And it's just beautiful, and for talking to us empaths about what we need to do to best take care of ourselves and how we can achieve clearing and balancing by getting assistance from someone like yourself, getting some guidance, because we all need that. We all need that from time to time. We do need help. So thank you so much, Kari. It's been absolutely beautiful talking to you.
Thank you, Lisa. It's really been a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for being here and tuning into Enlightened Connections. I truly hope today's episode offered you something to reflect on, expand into, or feel more deeply connected to, whether within yourself or with the animals and spirit world around you. If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow or subscribe to the show and share it with someone you feel may benefit from it as well. It's one of the most supportive ways you can help this podcast reach more hearts, more homes, and more animal lovers. And if you'd like to stay connected in between episodes, come join me inside the Enlightened Connections podcast Facebook community. I'd absolutely love to have you there. Until next time, take gentle care, stay connected, and trust the whispers.